Hey, it's Kimmy the Gadget Goddess, and I'm back as promised. It's been a week. I've had time to test everything out, get everything set up exactly how I want it, and I want to give you an update on this glorious device. But let me start off with the people that says, oh, good luck, it's gonna break, or the people say, oh, it's too expensive. As you can see here, I have the Mate X2, so that tells you I've bought expensive phones before. I still have it. That's why I said I probably still would keep this phone. You know, a lot of phones I buy and resell. Huawei has a special place in my heart, and I love their devices, really love their cameras. As long as I can get Google Play services to work, I will still use Huawei devices. That being said, I want to address a question that I had in my last video that I just got 5 minutes ago before I started shooting this one. Do I get 5G? 5G is going to depend on your locations. Some places I get really good 5G speeds. It won't say 5G. In some locations, I just won't. Granted, you import phones, you don't get all the bands. I don't go without service and I don't go without data, but there might be times that I have slow data. That's just a question that you might have had when you saw me unbox it. I do here in Charlotte, North Carolina, but you could get the phone and get in your area and not get 5G. So let's get into this. Let me address some certain things, my likes, my dislikes. Welcome to my first impressions of the Huawei Mate XT. Before you, I have my three daily drivers. Now they all have their own use case. I do use one primarily just for work stuff, but when I'm at work and not remote or not outside of my office at our other office, that SIM goes into my third phone that I use the least, and that would be my Xiaomi Flip. Now my Xiaomi Flip is one of my favorite cameras, so I cannot put this phone down. I can't sell it. I can't let it go. That's where that is. So we'll just take that out of the equation. It's the least used phone. Next up, I have the two phones that I use probably the most. I have my iPhone 16 Pro Max and I have my Xiaomi Mate XT. One of my SIMs is Visible. Visible is directly connected with Verizon. With that line, I can't really use too many imports. If I didn't have an eSIM, I would give this a spin and try it out in my Mate XT to see if it worked. eSIMs don't work with Chinese devices. Sorry, I can't test that out for you. I did see around the Reddits that somebody asked, you know, size comparison. How does this compare size-wise to iPhone 16 Pro Max? The Mate XT is a little thicker, just slightly. When you line them up, the iPhone is taller and it's just a bit wider. You can see the size of my iPhone on the sides of the Huawei. So technically, it's a bigger phone. Since I picked up this phone, I forwarded all my calls from here. There's no RCS here, so I have not really been using Beeper like I was using it before. I use iMessage and I use RCS, but being I have RCS on iMessage now, it's fine. Most of my texting is here. Social media, phone calls, internet surfing, YouTubes are here, just because it's a better experience, right? Just wanted to let you know what my main daily drivers were before I get started. I don't know of any other way to show off this phone in all its glory without having it open. Now, I will say that a lot of times, just like any other foldable, if you're moving around, shaking, doing your thing, you're probably not going to have it open. With this phone, I use it, you know, as a bifold and a trifold. Battery life can vary. So if you're using a lot of phone action this way, your battery life is not going to be so great. If you're using it as a bifold, battery life is exceptional. If you're using it as a single fold, battery life is exceptional. I think I'm on my third day here, but this is without me using it a lot as a trifold. Trifold is like if I'm wanting to get a YouTube on and things like that. Battery life can vary. So I wanted to put that out there. I've gotten anywhere from it's only lasting a day when I first set it up, till I'm getting 3 days. It's going to be your use case and how much you use the phone and what you do. I am enjoying that I can shoot this first impressions with the phone standing up by itself. I typically don't use the kickstand case at home. When I'm out and about, if I'm sitting at work, want to catch up on something, I definitely use the kickstand case. It was nice that they included it, and if somebody said these items weren't free in the box, I never said they were free. If I'm paying for a device, give me everything I should have with that device. For those of you not accustomed to the ways of Huawei, this device has an IR blaster, which a lot of foreign phones do. With an IR blaster, you can program remote, or you can program your phone into being a remote around the house. I use it on a couple of TVs in the house already. One of the first things I programmed was my bedroom TV in the living room. So those are the most commonly lost remotes. You just program them in, it tells you to test out certain things, hitting the power button, and once that works, you're all programmed. So love that feature. Nice having it. Nice to have an IR blaster. I think every phone should have one. They used to have them on the domestic side and they just stopped because a lot of people were trolling. Yes, I can go into bars and turn TVs up and down. I've had to use it at work before on a different phone. So yes, always a great feature. Let's go over Google and Google Play Services and all that riffraff. I have Gmail, Chrome, the Play Store. I have native Google services on this phone. The only application that I could not get to download out of the Play Store was Disney Plus. If you were to buy this phone overseas, they would advertise for you to get the Aurora Store. I picked up the Aurora Store just to get Disney Plus. Not a biggie for me. Got it downloaded and it works just fine. Netflix works just fine. And I think for the most part, YouTube has the best dimensions. So when you're watching YouTube, you can watch it as you normally watch it. Then when you want to make it bigger, that's about the best dimensions you're getting on YouTube on a foldable phone without having huge black lines. So it might look like black lines, but if you look at the bottom, there's my logo. So this is probably not the best example of how to show you how this works, but you know, this is just my intro for my live stream. You should definitely come check it out if that's something you might be into. We talk about tech, sports, and some other things. So one of my other favorite things to view on this phone, social media wise, is Instagram. Oops, not trying to go live. So with Instagram, you just get a bigger platform to just really see things, right? So love looking at Instagram on this phone. It's just so big. So that's how Instagram looks. No, the Cowboys are not making the playoffs. Absolutely not. I did go out into left field for a second. Sorry about that. So I will link you to the video I watched to get Google Play Services. If anybody's out there with any kind of Huawei device that needs Google Play Services natively, I will link that video below because it was the easiest install I've ever had since I've had a Huawei. 5 minutes, I'm telling you. I did test out the, was it FreeBuds? I don't even know what they're called. I will put it in here. I did test those out versus my free clips. Much more bass. It has a lot more commands with it. Like you can turn the volume up and down by scrolling up and down on the side of the actual bud. You can pause, you can play. I think double tap. And I don't know about skipping to the next song because like I said, I mostly use my buds to talk on the phone, but I did listen to them for music because the free clips have a lot of treble and no bass. The buds had a lot more bass. I felt like I could feel the music versus just listening to the music. Glad I tried those out. I still need to try out the charger. I have some high powered chargers in my car already, but 88 watts sounds wonderful. So I need to get that out in the car. I will let you know how that goes in the next video when I do my follow-up and your questions answered. Being that I've mentioned your questions answered, leave your questions below so I can answer them in the next video covering this device. Because yes, we're going to continue to cover this device. We spent a lot of money on it and we're enjoying it, and it'll probably be the phone I carry for the rest of the year and through some of next year unless something comes through and tickles my fancy. Another thing, if you're a foreign phone user, you're used to having to go through and set your phone up so it doesn't get delayed notifications. But guess what? With this native install of Google Play Services, I swipe down over here and it tells you, hey, you got these alerts, right? Of course, if I swipe down over here, I get my control panel. But since I've started this video, I have new alerts. So I didn't have to go through. I usually tell people how to turn on their notifications. You don't need to do that with this device. It's totally awesome. They come through, they're push. You don't have to change anything. Link in the description, how to get Google Play Services. The guy's awesome. He talks slowly and he walks you through the process. Speaking of being able to do things on both sides of the phone, your smart shortcuts, I can pop them out from this side or I can pop them out from this side. A lot of people like to multitask. I'm not a huge multitasker. You got Google running, you want to add another app. I can add Reddit and I can kind of move these around. I can minimize. It'll put it over here to the side. And then, see, it's walking me through this because I don't really multitask. And to switch to full screen, you just push up. And to close the window, you push down. And we're gonna tell us we got it, right? So if we wanna hit this button over here to the side, it's gonna make it full screen, right? Not Google, this is Reddit. Reddit has turned sideways. I don't have my kickstand in the right position, so I don't wanna leave it there. And I do love that the kickstand rotates. I promise you I'll get you some more information on multitasking. Like I said, I am not well versed in it because I haven't done a lot of it. I spent a lot of last week just getting the phone set up the way I want it because, like I said, I actually use my devices. I mentioned to you that I'm getting my calls here. Calls are clear. I haven't heard any complaints from the other end. So yeah, that's a good thing. I do want to let you hear speaker quality. So had it on the table and a cloth, so it's about halfway turned up now. That's not the highest. Okay, truly this is about halfway, okay? That's half. Let's go 75% here. 100%. So, pretty good sound quality coming from phone/tablet, right? Very satisfying to click it like that. Probably scares a lot of people, but I think I've adjusted pretty good. I still struggle to open the screen on the front, and I think it's just because I have nails, so I just dig in behind there and pull it out. People asked about my concern with creases. I've had the Huawei Mate XS. It folded out like this screen does, and I've had a multitude of just regular folds, so I'm not really concerned. Don't find folds to be fragile. I'm sure this one is probably a bit more fragile than a regular bifold, but I don't plan on getting any different cases than what the case that came with this. I do have one accessory that I did buy for this phone. Now, let's get to the things that I don't care for so much, okay? Yeah, I'm not that. First things first, no RCS. I mentioned that earlier. That is the thing I don't like. For those who ask, there is no Android Auto. I don't have Android Auto currently in my vehicle, but a lot of people do and they want to know. Aurora Store was the only way I could get Disney Plus. That's just because Google Play Store found my device to not be compatible with that streaming service. I'm not sure how the Play Store views this phone, other than it probably just being some random foldable, right? The phone is quite heavy when it is folded. Anything that's compact, once you spread it out, the weight is evenly distributed, so it doesn't feel as heavy. But when you're holding it like this, like I had maybe 1.5 conversations on this phone with it as one piece, it is heavy. And I even broke out my Huawei sunglasses again. So I have 3 different Bluetooth devices, not including my car, that I can talk on versus holding this up to my face. I will let you know that is a very heavy device to be holding while you're talking on the phone. That's about it in a nutshell so far. I might have some things when I check back in with your questions answered. Remember, I asked you to leave me questions in the comment section so I can address those on my next video. The honorable mention to all this is I went and got, and you can see I didn't really set it all the way back up. I fully wiped this device and set it up with the new Google Play services or the new GMS. This phone is actually an update ahead of this one. So go figure. The Mate X2 is still getting updates. It's still a good phone and I still have it. I still have my Mate RS Porsche edition as well. Those are my 3 Huaweis that I'll probably never get rid of. I hope you enjoyed this video. You found something in it that interests you, or I answered some question that you might have about this phone. For anybody on the fence, let me just say, I wouldn't go out and drop this kind of money on a phone. I sold 2 devices and put money with it to get this phone. I'm a techie and I have a YouTube channel, and my YouTube channel isn't paying like that. But if I wasn't doing YouTube, I probably would have went out and copped the device anyway, because Before YouTube, I bought the Mate RS Porsche Edition. And yeah, I think before I got this phone, the Mate XS was the most expensive phone that I got. And I did buy it at retail, sold it, and then somebody was selling this one cheaper, and I bought it again. So there are two phones I've ever bought twice, the Mate 20X and the Mate X2. There you go, fun fact about GG. I will end this video with some photos and tell you I appreciate you stopping by and checking out my channel. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking it. If you've enjoyed multiple videos on this channel and imported devices interest you, you might want to consider subscribing. I'd like to thank you for your time, because time is money, and I hope to catch you on my next video. Hi!